I kind of was wondering when this was coming, when Reggie Bush would sue the NCAA, but he sued the NCAA, the Pac-12, which we'll also talk about a little bit later, and USC, saying, hey, you guys colluded to make sure I couldn't make money off my name, image, and likeness when I was playing, and I could have made a lot of money, so you're going to need to give me some money. And this one is amazing to me because the House settlement, they kept saying, well, this will be it. This will stop all the lawsuits. No, it's not going to stop anything. Reggie Bush has an absolute claim here. Like, of all the people, think about this, Ari, of all the people, who has a better claim than Reggie Bush, who got his Heisman Trophy taken away, who got treated like a criminal in all those stories because some agents gave him some money because he was good at football. Not even USC. Like, USC didn't give him money. Agents gave him money.
Yeah. No, the funniest part about this is that basically anybody who was kind of good before the pre-NIL era has a claim of some sort, and we're seeing it and we're going to see it continue. But the ironic part about this one, Andy, is who it's coming from and how he was treated. Like, that's what stands out to me about this. It's like, they wish that the extent of what he got and he was okay with was whatever impermissible benefits that he was receiving at the time. Think about how much money that man was worth, because I think you could actually make a claim here, and I will, that he was probably the most electrifying, or one of the 3 most electrifying players in the history of our sport. And I don't know if it was just because it coincided with my childhood and when I was growing up and falling in love with the sport, but I don't remember any other player of any era making my jaw drop quite the same way that Reggie Bush did. And you think about how much money he probably made USC, how much relevance he brought to the Pac-12, all the things. So he got some housing and whatever else he got from his agent. Like, that is peanuts in comparison to what he was worth. And at the time, we took his Heisman away. We made him feel like he was a scumbag, all the things that, went on in his life. And the fact of the matter is that no matter how much he got from an agent during his time in college football, Andy, he was grossly underpaid.
Well, I just looked it up because I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember the exact amount, and I don't know if we have an exact dollar figure. But what do you think it was? Don't look it up. What do you think Reggie Bush got? At least that Yahoo caught him for. What do you think it was?
I'm just guessing a dollar amount without knowing off the top of my head. $23,000.
Okay, you're a little low. About $100,000. About $100,000.
Still.
$100,000. Like, I'm going to sound real bougie here. That's not much even for normal people anymore. Like,
yeah,
$100,000 is a lot of money, but it doesn't go that far.
What was $100,000 in like 2002? It went a lot further back then, but yeah, it's not going to change anybody's life even back then. And I feel stupid for my grossly low guess, but I just probably figured that at the time, $25,000 was a lot of money, and you could have ripped off a college kid easier then too, because it's always comes back to that to me. It's like, how much can you give somebody while making them feel important while it actually not being enough? And $100,000 probably, hits that bar. And you're absolutely right, Andy. $100,000 is not life-changing amount of money. You still have to work. It's not going to get you more than a few years of extra leeway, depending on what your lifestyle is. And, for somebody who was basically the face of the sport for multiple years and carrying USC to the highest of heights in the game, think about here's the thing. How much did he get? $100,000? How much would you even estimate? And I know there's probably no way to quantify this based on, inflation and, the way things worked 20 years ago. But what do you think the man was worth at the time?
What was he worth to USC? I mean, they won 2 national titles, one undisputed, one shared. They also had Matt Leinart. They had a lot of other good players, but Reggie Bush was probably the best skill player they had. I'm just trying to think in terms of NIL right now, what would Reggie Bush have commanded his junior year? Like, if he'd have gone to USC after sophomore year in this era now and said, all right, I'm on the market. If you would like to keep me, beat everyone. And that would be probably because he's a running back, he's not a quarterback, but still, given the level of wow he provided every game, $750,000 to $1 million, right? At least
annually,
right? For 1 year, for his junior year.
Yeah, that
and
sounds
he's worth more than that to USC.
Yeah, well, the thing that's interesting is that, like, to me, that still sounds really low. And you want to sound bougie? $750,000 is a heck of a lot of money, but it's not enough for you to coast for life. Like, I feel like Reggie Bush was good enough at football to be worth enough money to set him up for life if he never worked another day in his life. Like, that's how valuable he was to me. I don't even know if I would love college.
He got that in the NFL because he was drafted high enough for that to happen. So.
Sure. And that's, the old way of thinking about it, right? Like, well, pay your dues now and get the NFL. But even if you take the NFL out of the equation, the amount of value that he had for college football, not just USC. I mean, I honestly will sit here right now looking at this camera, Andy, and tell you that I'm not necessarily sure that I would love college football as much as I do if it wasn't for him. Like, that was the guy that was the height of the era from when my mind was still developing. You know what I mean? Like, that guy is like a god to me in my head. Like, that's the pinnacle of it. So I don't know, how far this is all going to go down the line. I'm assuming anybody who was a all conference player or even a starter is going to feel like they're owed something because, think about how many people in college football right now in the NIL era who are making a ton of money and aren't necessarily producing the results that you want. I don't want to single anybody out, but there's somebody that pops into my head right now in college football that I know is making a hell of a lot of money who is not doing anything. And he's playing. You know what I mean? Like, that's
DJU.
That wasn't who it was, but there's someone else.
We can say just gonna... it now. Ari,
think about how much money Ollie Gordon is making right now, and he is not producing. And I don't know if it's his fault. I know they've got some line issues or whatever, but like, he is probably, I know, the highest paid NIL recipient on Oklahoma State's roster. He's supposed to be one of the best running backs in college football, and he has not made plays at the level that he's expected to make given the amount of income that he's had. Now, again, maybe that's misallocation of funds from Oklahoma State, Andy, because if you are going to pay a running back a heck of a lot of money and your offensive line is struggling, then you're misallocating the money. But I just, there's a lot of people in college football, and it's not just DJU and Ollie. There's a lot of people who are making a lot. I mean, think about how much money Jackson Arnold's probably making. Like, and he's not even playing anymore. So like, it's for what Reggie was worth and what some of these guys are making, it's just crazy. And this is just the beginning.
I think Reggie's got a better pain and suffering case than anybody else, just because of the way he was treated and he was vilified unfairly. That whole story was all twisted because the NCAA wanted to make that about USC and punish USC when, in fact, it didn't matter that Reggie Bush played for USC. It didn't matter who Reggie Bush played for. Those agents were going to try to pay him. Like, that wasn't going to change that.
So, and this is just my past, Andy. So don't throw me under the Ohio State homer situation. But right at the beginning of my journalism career, I was covering Ohio State. The tattoo gate thing happened. And I know that Terrell Pryor wasn't necessarily as famous or big as Reggie Bush was of his era, and frankly didn't deserve to be. Remember his recruitment? Remember what it was like when he got to Ohio State? And then not only that, because of selling his own stuff for money, I don't even think Terrell got tattoos. He got in trouble. He missed time in his college career and then had to go into the supplemental draft. How much money did this man lose because of the tattoo scandal? That is a joke now. Right. Like, it's not even just from college income. You want to talk about pain and suffering? He could have been a first-round draft pick potentially.
Yeah. I wrote it immediately when that broke. Like, those guys should all go pro. Like Terrell Pryor, Devere Posey. Like, don't sit around and serve out the suspension. Don't put up with that crap. Go pro because you're being hosed here. Like, that was the ultimate in how just bass-ackward everything was. Because remember, the Big Ten worked a deal with the NCAA so that they could play in the bowl game so they didn't get their asses beat by Arkansas. Like, they needed them for that, but then they can be suspended after that. Like, it was such garbage. And I'm glad it's over. And I'm glad they're having to pay up because they were breaking the law. Like, I hope Reggie Bush soaks them for everything because they were breaking the law. If they had just chosen not to break the law, if they had chosen to let people get money for being good at football, which is not morally wrong, they wouldn't be dealing with this right now.
Yeah.
But they were greedy, and pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered, and they are getting slaughtered now, and good. Good.
Yeah.
So,
I'm no economist.
Enjoy your money, Reggie Bush.
I'm no economist, Andy, so maybe you can walk me through this. But there are going to be a lot of lawsuits that are of the same ilk coming out of the woodwork, right? Like, didn't Braylon Edwards just file one a few weeks ago for Michigan?
And the NC State basketball team that won the national title in the 80s.
So if there are a million of these, because I'm assuming that, if anybody sees somebody sue something for something that applies to them and get money, that they're going to want money too, right? That's just human nature.
Yeah.
How much money can this system hemorrhage before there's a problem? I don't know. It's not like an unlimited amount of money.
No,
right?
it's not an unlimited amount
of money.
So,
I don't know. This is going to be really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's going to be very uncomfortable. And a lot of people who've been making a lot of money for a long time are going to have to make less money now.
Yeah.
But they didn't deserve the money they were making in the first place because they were stealing it from other people.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
That's what you get. You steal from other people. Eventually, you would have to pay it back. So at least hopefully. But that's fine. Like, because here's the thing. They're going to keep putting football on TV. TV networks are still going to keep paying for it.
And more
people
and
seem
more
to like
more.
it. They're going to keep staging football games that 90,000 people, 100,000 people are going to keep showing up to. So guess what? It's not going to end the enterprise because there's still people who want to pay to see it. So now they're not allowed to steal from these people anymore. They're going to have to pay some of the people they stole from. And that's the end of it. Speaking of all this, now that we're in a new system, which has its own perils, pitfalls, all kinds of new stuff, one way to find out more about it is watch The Money Game on Prime Video. Incredible docuseries following LSU athletes through last football season and spring and winter. And so you get Jayden Daniels, Angel Reese, Livvy Dunne. These are all people that have taken advantage of the NIL system, but kind of in different ways. Like Jayden Daniels, I don't know that Jayden Daniels even had any clue how good he was going to be as a senior. And by the way, Ari, I don't know if you saw him last night. Jayden Daniels may be that guy in the NFL now. But Angel Reese did know going in that this was going to be the year to capitalize. Livvy Dunne was already an influencer, essentially, who wasn't allowed to make money. And then NIL came and she could make money as an influencer. And it just went supernova. So it's so interesting how all of this changed so fast. And it kind of dovetails in with what we're talking about with Reggie Bush. And so if you'd like to explore that further, watch The Money Game on Prime Video. It's all 6 episodes are out right now. Click the link in the show description of the YouTube video that you're watching or the podcast you're listening to. It'll take you right to it if you're already a Prime Video subscriber. If you are not a Prime Video subscriber, by all means, click that link and get yourself signed up, and you can watch The Money Game, NFL football on Thursday nights, The Rings of Power. There's a new episode of that coming out Thursday. Just saying. It's fantastic. Watch The Money Game. Click that link in the show description. It'll take you right there.